Hello, my name is Beth Holmes, and I want to welcome you to this Millikan Choral Conversation. I teach voice and direct choirs at Millikan University, and over my time there, I've developed these ideas, this philosophy about healthy singing technique. So today, and for the next few days in these video segments, I look forward to sharing with you some ways that you as singers can focus on each of the different important aspects of singing. There are going to be 5 video segments, and on each of these segments I'm going to spend time giving you ideas, images, exercises, various things you can do to actually develop your own ability in each of these areas. I call each of these subjects the 5 facets of singing, of healthy singing. We're going to talk today about breath and support, probably the most undeniably foundational one of these 5 different aspects of singing. And you're going to need to bring your imagination to this whole process and your activity. I hope wherever you are, whether you are on Zoom or whether you're in the choral rehearsal, you go ahead and stand up and get ready to use your body, because your body is your instrument in singing, right? We don't need anything else. We have our bodies and our voices, and it's important for us to learn to use this instrument well, just as if we had gone and spent a lot of money on an instrument that we were going to play in a band. Today we're going to focus, like I said, on breath and support and tools you can use to start to really grow your own breath fuel for your art of singing. When I was growing up, my dad had this huge number of tools, quite a collection, and he had a great big tool bench and a huge wall on which his tools were hung in a very specific order. He loved to do projects around our house with these tools, and as we worked together sometimes, and I would help him and assist in various ways, he would teach me 2 axioms about his tools and about how to be the most effective that you can in your skills and in doing what it is you're setting about to do. Number 1, you've got to have the right tool for the task. It's so important that otherwise your task isn't going to really work well. So as I am applying this idea to this whole process that we're going on right now, this little journey on voice building, I'm going to give you specific tools that work really well for each of these 5 facets of singing. Secondly, he would always teach me organization is really important for the overall impact of what you're doing. And in the next few segments, I'm going to also share with you that question, my paradigm, my organization of these 5 facets of singing and how they relate to one another. And I think this will be helpful for you as well as the singer. So, would you please stand up, and would you please just at this moment go to a place where you have plenty of space and raise your arms over your head. As you do that, I just want you to stretch out a little bit. It may be early in the morning where you are, or it may be the end of a long day. Let yourself stretch. I'm going to teach 3 different aspects of breath, and the first one has to do with posture. You probably guessed it. Posture and alignment. So as you have your arms above your head, I want you to think about where your chest and rib cage are right now. And as you put your arms down in just a minute, I want you to keep your chest and rib cage right where they are. So think about where that is. Let your arms drop. Maintain that strong sternum and those expansive ribs. All right? Now I'm going to have you back up to a wall if you can, if you happen to have one close. If not, imagine that you do. And I'm just going to have you put your arms out like a T and think about your posture, your alignment, from your head all the way down to your feet. Would you please, first of all, imagine that you have a high ponytail on your head, and I want you to let your head rest on the wall beneath that high ponytail. So I see a lot of students that when I say this, they do this, right where the high ponytail goes. But it's important for your singing that your head, your jaw be a little bit tucked, and your head lean back to where it's aligned right on the top of the spinal column. Another thing you might think about, keep your arms here while I talk, is hanging your whole body on a guitar hook. You know, the guitar hooks that are on the wall? You can actually take a guitar and hang its neck right in that hook. I want you to think the same way about your own head. Imagine that right along the wall there's this hook, and you can hang your head right there on that hook, and that holds you up at by the two places right at the base of your skull. Would you imagine that as you still stand there? Good. Now, so your head is going to be back right at that place beneath the high ponytail. Beneath that, then are your shoulders. Hopefully your shoulders are rolled back and gently touching the wall. Then I want you to bend your knees just a little bit so that you can actually tuck your rear under just a little bit. We don't want to have a duck butt. We want to have a clear alignment, a clear lineup between our ears, our shoulders, our hips tucked under, and at least one of your ankles. I usually put my feet about shoulder distance apart, skew my feet just a little bit differently, not exactly the same direction, but a little bit differently, so I have a great foundation. Okay, one more time. Head to toe. Check your head, your shoulders, your hips, and your ankles, and make sure they're lined up. This is a great place, by the way, to check with a partner and see, give that person, have you got those 4 contact points all lined up? How many points would you give them out of 4? And have them do the same thing for you. Now, I want you to think about also being suspended from 2 ropes or 2 little strings from above that are tied around your collarbones. If you think about that, again, that lifts this chest and rib cage into a beautiful, strong sternum and nice, expansive rib cage, and lets the rest of the body hang from your rib cage, so to speak. It's a great, quick singing posture idea. Another one is thinking about a swan. I think about this as my swan's neck and head, and you can see that a swan's neck is so tall and narrow, and I think even if I just think that in the back of my neck I have a lot of verticality, a lot of stretch that helps my head rest easily on top of that swan neck. Some of us walk around all day long at our computer or even just down the hall looking more like a goose or even a road runner, right? But I want us to think about swans, that graceful lift at the base of our skull. Sometimes I like to take 2 fingers on each hand, put them at the base of my jaw, my hinge of my jaw, and just really gently, you're not pushing, you're just encouraging yourself to remember that that head should go back up on that spinal column, not out here. As a singer, that's so important. So any of those tools will help you with that. Okay, so that's posture, alignment. Secondly, we're going to go on to inhalation, right? The very beginning of the actual breath. Now that we've got ourselves in the right position, how do we start that breath? I want you to put your fingertips on your abs and just for a minute practice a immediate, silent release of all of these muscles. Ready, set, release. Now again, ready, set, release. I call that my fat splat. So just by the name, fat splat, you'll get the idea. The release causes there to be an instant sort of fatness. Some of us have more than others, but I want you to think about the fact that when you inhale, when you start that breath, you should feel a sense of fullness deep in your body. And it's not just a gradual fullness, it's an instant splat, okay? So would you think about making a fat splat as you initiate the breath? So the breath isn't initiated by your mouth. I see a lot of singers do that, sort of take a big mouthful. But if you do that, that's not going to give you the depth of breath, the fuel, filling up your fuel tank as well as you really need it for a phrase of singing. So you're going to put your fingertips here for all of these exercises that I'm going to have you do. First of all, hopefully you have a straw. If you don't, go get one quickly, or make sure that you go through the drive-thru this week and pick one up. You're going to need a straw in order to do this first, and I think it's my very most important breath exercise. All right? Again, you're going to put your fingertips down on your abs. But you're going to take the straw in and out. Why don't you, for now, just go ahead and put it in your mouth and just breathe through it while your fingertips are here. And I'll explain what we're about to do. We're going to do a cycle of inhalation for 6 slow counts, and then exhalation for 12. I'll count. Inhalation for 6, exhalation for 12. So on the inhalation, we're always going to use our straw. Then we'll take it out and exhale for 12 counts on a variety of different consonants. The very first one is going to be an S. Second one is going to be a F, as in father. And the third one, I want you just to say a whispered ah. Okay, so it's not, it's like I'm actually whispering. Okay? All right, so put your straw in your mouth. Let all the breath release, go out of your straw, but try as you do that not to allow the sternum or this rib cage, expansive, like we've been working on, to collapse. If you let that collapse any time that you're expelling your air through the straw, you're setting yourself up for a shallow breath in just a minute. So again, keep that straw there, maintain. If you have a mirror, you might want to put the mirror in front of you at home while you do this exercise, because you can really see whether you're letting anything collapse. Put the straw in your mouth. Here we go. Ready? And fat splat. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 5, 6. Take the straw out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't let anything collapse. 8, 9. Keep everything expansive. 11, 12. Put the straw back in. Fat splat. 6. Slow counts through the straw. 5, 6. Now out on F. 1. Keep your sternum strong. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Straw back in. Fat splat. 3, 4, 5, 6. It's hard to keep that one going, isn't it? Okay, from those 3 little cycles, here's what we're doing. The very first time, after you've made a fat splat, a low, deep inhalation, I'm having you expel the air on with just a tiny space. That helps you keep the air managed and allows you to sing a longer phrase, all right, that 12-second phrase. Some of you probably can already do that easily when you do s. So you can already go ahead and start elongating that. Go to 15 if you want to. On the next one, same thing. The teeth and the lips are helping us keep back our breath and manage that breath so that it's not as hard to go the distance. But on the third one, that whispered ah is very difficult. All you have to help you manage that breath is down here. Basically your support that we're about to talk about in just a minute. But that's the most like singing. So that is a great exercise for you to use to build your ability to use your breath, to get a really deep breath to start with, and then to know how to use it. A great idea when thinking about this in for 6, out for 6 exercise with your straw. Practice it at home, laying on the floor with a stack of books about that big right on your abdomen, all right? If you're doing it correctly, as you inhale through the straw, that stack of books will rise, right? Because you're going to get fat as you inhale. Then that stack of books is going to fall as you exhale. Every year at Milliken, I have new voice students come into my studio. I have a few that are doing this backwards. They've learned that their shoulders shouldn't rise and their chest shouldn't rise when they take a breath. So they're careful about that, but they have somehow gotten turned around in the idea of what happens down here. Some of them come in when they inhale, they go in, and when they exhale, they go out, and that's the opposite. Remember that fat splat idea. When you inhale, you're going to release, and there's this nice feeling of largeness that happens, okay? And then as we exhale, that's going to go back out again. So you might try that exercise laying down. All right, let's go on to support. once you get this nice big balloon of breath that's safely and strongly ready for you to use in your singing, what do you do with it? How do you put gentle pressure on that balloon of breath so that your airstream and your tone is very steady? I'd like you, first of all, just to practice engaging. Again, the secret really is these muscles right in the abdominal area, in the core of your body. It's not this, it's not this, it's not this, it's all down here. Put your fingertips again on your abs. And would you please just respond back, echo what I do, and we'll try engaging these muscles. You actually have two pairs of muscles, an outside pair and an inside pair, right here across your abdominal area. When you flex or use that outside pair, they pull in. When you flex or use the inside pair, they engage and resist against the outside pair. So I want you to get used to the idea of engaging, resisting, using both pairs of muscles as gentle pressure as you expel that balloon full of breath. So let's go back to take your breath in, fat splat, and would you repeat after me? Shh, shh, k, k, k. How about this one? S, d, d. And did you feel that from here? It's possible to do that just from here up. But what I'm really challenging you to do is s, s, d, d. From right down here, using that engagement. Try it again. How about this one? G, 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 f. Try barking like a dog now. Woof, woof. How about this short, crisp call? Hey! Hey! Now blow out 5 candles. Can you still engage to do that? Try it. Again. Try it. Nice. We've been practicing engaging, so you should start to feel what that's going to feel like. Basically, supporting your breath and supporting your tone is taking that same coordinative process that we've been practicing and maintaining it steadily all the way through the line or through the phrase. Let's practice it this way now. Imagine that you have a cylinder in front of your body full of breath, and you're going to press down with your palms on that sealed plunger that's going to put pressure on that breath column, all right? As we put pressure and go down with our plunger, we're going to expel our breath on shh. And when you get to the bottom, which is the fat splat mark, you guessed it, fat splat, release, and the plunger comes back up. Let's try about 3 of them together. Ready? And shh. Ready? Fat splat. Again. Instigate your inhalation on your fat splat. Now. And again. Shh. Pressure against that air column. And release. It's another good one. You might also just try using a little bit of a squat as you sing a simple vocalese, and just go down into your squat and back up as you stand. We're just going to sing a very simple Zia. Would you do it as you rise and fall into your squat? And all this does is get that core of our body active and engaged. It helps those support muscles take hold and steady us. Let's try it. Ready? And Zia. Again. Zia. Something to play with. It's interesting how just making our body do something physical engages those muscles. Let's try now a brrr. in order to keep the lips buzzing, motor boating, you have to, again, utilize that support. If you find when you try this that it's very difficult for you to keep it going, it may be because you're not utilizing that support. So try it. Keep the lips buzzing, but loose and free. And I want you just to imagine that you're on a motorcycle. And as you boom, boom, boom that engine, right? Again, feel it down here. Don't just feel it in your lips or here. Keep everything loose and relaxed, but really engage this coordination that we've been talking about. I'm going to do, and we're going to use our motorcycle and get a little bit into our squat. Again, this just helps us get into our body and feel the core. Ready? On your motorcycle, go. Did you feel that here or just here? Try it one more time. Ready? Feel it deep in the core of your body and squat, motorcycle. I hope these have been helpful ideas. Again, these are some really tried and true ideas and exercises that have worked so well with me, both in the choral rehearsal and in the solo voice classroom. So I'm hoping that they've been helpful to you. We talked about posture and alignment. We talked about inhalation, and then we talked about breath support. I hope you can choose at least one or two of these ideas in each category and start to commit to working on those particular things in your own home. Hopefully they'll help. I know that for sure your choral director has a lot of other techniques, ideas, warm-ups, and exercises that he or she has been using, and many of them address some of the same things that I'm going to be addressing. So I hope these are things that complement what you already are doing with your choral director. On the screen in front of you right now, you should see a link and a QR code which takes you directly to an easy Google form. In fact, if your choir director will pause the video, you should be able to get out your phone, open to your camera, and it will immediately scan that QR code. You can click the little box and you're right there. All this is an opportunity for us at Millikin in the music department to get your contact information and maybe a few ideas about what majors you might be considering. I know many of you are considering your college choices right now, and Millikin would love to have you be involved here. And so this just gives us a chance to send you some information about events, things that are happening at Millikin, audition days, some things that you might be interested in knowing. Also, just some contacts for who to call if you have particular questions. The other great thing about this is that each of you who does sign up and give us that information about yourself, your name will be added to a drawing for a prize, for actually several prizes. We're going to be drawing several fun choral Millikin items that could end up in your mailbox. So for a chance for one of those, go ahead and send your information in. I certainly hope this has been a fun and helpful time for you. I've enjoyed sharing these concepts so much. And I look forward to seeing you again on the next Millikin Choral Conversation.